So now I can, are you there?
Oh my God, you guys.
So Charles, when it
Yes.
says,
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
So I'm ready now.
Okay. So let's it's now a minute to 7. So let's wait for maybe 3-4 minutes to allow others to join.
So what I wanted to do was to just practice. If I say share screen, does it come, and how do I see my notes and all that stuff?
Okay, so when you go to, you can click on share screen, right? Have you clicked on share screen?
Yes.
Okay, and then you open your slides. Okay, you are sharing the screen. Very, very good. There we go.
See now, because I have so many screens open.
Yeah. So we can see your slides now. Good.
See the slide?
Yes, you can see your slides. No, it's disappeared now. Let me see here. You have to click on share screen again.
Okay, so let me find my slide again here because it's lost.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, this is terrible.
It's gonna be okay. Take it easy.
I'm not really familiar with this. Okay, so I need to go back and find my slide again. What happens when you're using somebody else's computer?
All right. Okay. You can do. What you can do is click on share screen again, right? When you do that, it's gonna allow you to see your slides. Click on share screen again there. Click on share screen again.
Let me just take a look here. My PowerPoint is missing already. I can't see it. There it is. Okay, and
Okay.
He talked about having the brain fog still and out of breath.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, may I ask you to mute your microphones until you are ready to speak. Everyone, please mute your microphones. Thank you very much. Give us a little bit of time for maybe 3 minutes for our speaker to get slides ready, and then we can start.
it's still. Yeah, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how to go back and forth on this. That's my problem. See? Okay, we'll just use that. Okay. No, not good, I think. I just need to go restarting shortly. The only thing I wasn't able to see is to see, I cannot see my career. I cannot see my notes. That's the problem.
Even now?
Yeah, what
what I do is I normally use a small screen. You minimize the screen, you move things around.
PowerPoint, I'm having a hard time. So
Notes.
my notes
Use the
are,
mouse. Use the mouse. It's easy.
so this is it.
Zoom in. Can go in. You wanna just go off your screen? I mean, camera off for now, and mute. How close do you want it?
It's enough to see. And they need to be able to see it.
Professional, these are your notes right here.
Can you go back?
Yeah.
Again?
So you move it. There you go. Now, question.
To the forum safely, and for us, to the glory of your name, honor, be praised. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sister. All right. So again, thank you all for joining us from wherever you are. There is a saying, a very popular saying that, oh, please, may I ask that everybody mute his or her microphone so we can have only one meeting, please. Please, everybody. May I ask that you all mute your microphones, please? Okay, I'm going to out this person. I'm going to see who is doing this and call the person out. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Jeff, please mute your microphone, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. All right. Okay, thank you. All right. So, as I was saying, knowledge is power. Oh, it's not Jeff. Who is this person? It's not Jeff. Okay, Colin, I believe it's Colin Badu. Colin Badu, the 10th born. Colin, please, could you mute your microphone? Colin, please mute your microphone for us. So knowledge is power. Ignorance is a disease. Ignorance is bliss. We have decided to, that is the executives of the Ghanaian Canadian Association of BC has decided to organize a series of educational webinars to educate ourselves on how to manage our finances. Today's is the first of a series of these webinars, and we are honored to have in our presence no other than the acting Ghanaian Canadian and Ghanaian High Commissioner to Canada, His Excellency Mr. Mauto Alifo. And before the speaker begins the presentation, I'd like His Excellency to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity to be with you today. Mr. President, executive members of the Ghanaian Canadian Association in British Columbia, compatriots, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to be with you today for this important webinar. It is essential, and although it is 10 p.m. here in Ottawa, I decided to join you for two very strong reasons. Your president, Dr. Quist Adade, is a very active member of the Association of Presidents of Ghanaian Canadian Associations in Canada. And because of his active involvement in our activities, if he's doing an event, organizing an event, and I don't attend, it will be remiss of me not to attend. The second reason is what I have already stated, which is the importance we attach to webinars like this to enlighten all of us, because wealth creation is what we are also here for, to see our people doing well, taking the right financial decisions that would inure not only to them as individuals, but collectively as a people who are coming from a different continent and trying to eke out a living elsewhere. We also want to assure you that we are very aware of all your contributions as members of the diaspora community. These are very tough times, but we have not lost sight of your contributions in terms of remittances back home. One question that keeps nagging that our authorities back home keep thinking about is all the thousands of our nationals in Western countries. One day when they go on pension, would they decide to stay wherever they find themselves, or they will be coming home? If they come home, how easy would it be for them to access their hard-won pension wherever they decide to live the rest of their lives? So based on this, your government, your leaders back home, the SNIT, when I say SNIT, most of you know the social SNIT, because I don't have a lot of time, the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are engaging in how to organize or establish a pensions portability with most of the countries where our people work and live in. So if this becomes very possible, one day you can choose to be in Ghana and you shouldn't have any difficulty accessing your pensions. So pension portability. So this event I'm also attending, just like most of you, to learn, to get some new insights as to what we should be providing to our home government in terms of advice to make this a reality. Before I end, I would also like to give you some good news. Our Ghana High Commission in Ottawa and the Consulate General in Toronto is now fully online, because we know the challenges you have. So you don't have to physically be present to be assisted. So we are going to improve upon our visa services. Just apply from the comfort of your home, and we'll try work around the clock to satisfy you. And then again, the Ghana government has decided, we told them that Canada is the second largest country in the world, and it would be very unfair to ask Dr. Quist Adade to fly all the way to Ottawa for a biometric passport. So what we are going to do after the state of emergency or the state stay-at-home order, after the COVID pandemic, will be consular visits where we will take delivery of a mobile passport processing equipment. So if 20 of you are ready somewhere in British Columbia, we fly with the equipment to you and would make an announcement through your president that we are coming from so and so date to the next date, and please meet us here for the processing or capturing of your biodata, which will be necessary for getting you that passport. And finally, there is also some good news in the pipeline. A new ambassador will be arriving very soon. And when he arrives, because of the good work your president is doing, we shall include British Columbia in our program for that grand outdooring. On that note, I thank you for your attention and stay safe, and let's learn together from the resource person for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you for those inspiring, news, pieces of news. And we hope to see you and the new High Commissioner, soon, either virtually or in person, depending upon the state of COVID-19. Thank you very much indeed. And as I said earlier on, knowledge is power. Today we are poised to gain knowledge as to how to manage our finances, how to invest our hard-earned money. So without much ado, allow me to introduce our one and only one sister and friend, Alice Wamae. Sister Alice, if I pronounced your name wrong, please forgive me, all right? So the floor, the cyber floor is yours now, sister. And please, may you start by self-introducing yourself, all right? Introduce yourself to us. We know you.
Okay, thank you very much. I am so delighted to be with you today and to be part of the Ghanaian community. I think Dr. Krista Dede always talks about Africa must unite. I think that is your motto on your WhatsApp. And it is so good to be, to be working together like this. And I hope we can do more of this in the next coming years, where we can collaborate and begin this process of uniting. And I feel that as Africans in the diaspora, we have an opportunity to actually bring us together, because here we are from different countries having to work together. So I'm delighted. Again, my name is Alice Wamae, and you did get it right. I think on my screen it probably shows Jonathan, because my computer gave me a bit of problems. So I had to switch to my husband's computer. And I work for Vancity Credit Union. I'm an account manager. I have been with Vancity now since 2003. And I've done different roles in Vancity, which includes being a trusted advisor. And I hope that today I can share the little bit of knowledge that I have discovered over the years. I salute my sister and friend, Agatha. And I found her at Vancity when I got there. And I think she's more able to talk about investments than I am, because I do not have, or my licensing expired a long time ago. But as a trusted advisor, I'll share some of my own knowledge of how we can demystify investments. I hold a master's degree in cooperative management, because I do work in the cooperative movement, and I wanted to understand what cooperatives can do to better help us in managing finances or economies and things like that. So I did a master's in that, and again, I'm delighted to be collaborating like this. Also, the Honorable Alifo, he alluded to the fact that you know, how will we be able to, will we have the opportunity to move to our own home countries after we've been here as workers? So I hope I can address that a little bit later, just so that, you know, we can have that conversation. So I'm hoping we can be as interactive as possible. I don't usually do this often, so I might stumble a few times, but I hope that I can carry the message that I have for you. So, Professor, have I addressed? No? Interact. Professor Charles.
Yes, sorry, yes.
Have I addressed everything?
Oh, yes, certainly, yes, you can create. That's
okay.
very good, that's very good. Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yeah, we can see your screen, yes.
You can see the screen, okay. So I will get right into it because we don't have a long time. And I don't know how this is going to play out. So let me get into it, and then maybe we have a time later. We can, I believe we agreed with the professor that if you have any questions or comments, you can put them there, and somehow we can interact to engage as much as we are able. So I will go off stop on video so you don't see me anymore. And then hopefully we can see. And I hope you can still hear me.
Yes.
So today we're going to be talking about demystifying investments. And I would like to acknowledge that I'm making this presentation in Surrey, BC. And Surrey is on the shared unceded traditional territory of the Katsi, Semiamu, Kwantlen, and other Coast Salish peoples. I acknowledge my respect to the elders, both past and present. Second thing I would like to do today, if I'm able to move things here, let's see. Okay, there we go. The next thing I would like to do is to just acknowledge my organization, Vancity Credit Union, for giving us the tools to be able to share with our community. As Vancity is a cooperative, as you all know, and I hope you can hear me clearly. You can, okay, good. So as a cooperative, Vancity adheres to the 7 cooperative principles. You can see them on the screen. Some of you probably know them. There is currently ongoing discussion to include an 8th principle, that is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we know the reasons why. And that is exciting to me. So I'm looking forward to see how they can incorporate, and to think that these principles were coined for a long time ago and it's time to change them is very exciting for me. So they'll be including hopefully an 8th principle. Today, however, we are going to focus on the 5th cooperative principle, which is education, training, and information. Just as in the first modern co-op in Rochdale, so over 150 years ago, they focused on member education so members could understand what they were buying and negotiate with confidence. Our training programs here at Vancity are about helping members develop both the confidence and competence to make informed financial decisions. This way of doing members, which our members and communities are calling for, differentiates us from traditional financial institutions. It requires us to think differently about wealth, to believe we can only truly prosper as individuals if we are surrounded by and connected to a vibrant, healthy community that is sustainable for the long term. So Vancity's goal is to create positive member and community impact through all our operations. This is from how we make our money, how we spend it, and how we invest it. And I think we can apply the same principle to ourselves. How do we make our money? How do we spend it? And how do we invest it? So I thought that this is important to highlight because as a community of Africans in the diaspora, we really need to recognize that we can only truly prosper as individuals when we are surrounded by and connected to a vibrant, healthy community of other Africans like ourselves. So I hope that we can each put our professional foot forward to help prop up each other. Now, before I proceed as well to the materials, I would like to make the disclaimer that I'm not providing any financial advice. All the information and examples are for illustration purposes only. I recommend you validate all the information and seek the services of a professional advisor. So what are our learning objectives? I hope that we can address the what and how of investments, investment options, and the purposes of investing. We will not get into specifics. So we'll not talk about the features, the benefits, contribution rules, withdrawals, all those kinds of things due to time. I hope though that you'll be prompted when we finish the discussion to seek out the services of an advisor who can look at your specific situation and make specific recommendations. So the learning outcomes that I hope we'll know, or at least take away with, so if you take away 4 things out of all this talking, I hope that you will know the value of appreciating assets versus depreciating assets. You will know the value of compounding interest. You'll know the value of planning, and you will know the value of a professional wealth planner. If you take that away with you, I think I'll feel that I have made my point in talking and demystifying investments. So if I may dwell on this a little bit, so one of the outcomes is that you may know the value of appreciating assets versus depreciating assets. So I asked the question, if you had 40,000 today and you buy the latest model of your favorite vehicle, what will your car be worth in 5 years? How about if your friend takes his or her 40,000 and buys a house or a condo? In 5 years, where will they be? I want to suggest to you that they will be ahead. And that is one person understood the value of an appreciating asset and another one did not. Now, I'm not saying don't buy new cars, but I'm just saying you need to prioritize to know what to do with your money. Knowing the value of compounding interest. Investing takes time. It needs you to be consistent. You need to plan. And that's because you want your money to grow.
Okay, hold on. No, give Sean a chance. He's typing.
Oh my God. May I ask everyone, please, to kindly mute your microphone so we don't disturb the speaker. Please, thank you so very much. Okay, sister, continue.
Thank you. So the other one is know the value of planning. Planning for life's events so that you're able to adjust and take advantage of opportunities to grow your wealth. I also added the value of a professional planner. And so the point I was thinking here, I thought to myself that, we are very accustomed to paying for professionals. And to put things in perspective, we pay a mechanic because we know the value of having a reliable vehicle to take us from point A to point B. However, we are sometimes uncomfortable paying for investment services and yet this is a vehicle that will help us to move our financial planning or whatever financial goals that we have from point A to B. So those are some of the learning outcomes that I would like us to achieve. So I'll ask the question, what is investing to you? So if you're able, and I hope that you're able to put some comments, put some comments on what investments means to you. If you can, and you're able, you can do that. And Charles, if anybody comments, you can let us know before I get into it.
Okay.
What does investment mean to you? Is anybody putting any comments, or do they want to just listen?
Yes. So, a candidate says, growing our money.
Yeah.
Growing our money. And Jeff says, retire comfortably.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so to invest, as you can see there, and somebody put it very well, is to allocate money with the expectation of a positive benefit return in the future. So in other words, to invest means owning an asset or an item with a goal of generating income from the investment, and you expect it to appreciate. So investing is important, if not critical, to make your money work for you. So I'll just say this, you work hard for your money, but when you invest, your money works hard for you. I want to say that investing is how you take charge of your financial security. It allows you to grow your wealth. Now, I will not get into the different ways that you invest, but let me mention a few things that might resonate with a few of you. So when you're investing your money, there's a way that planners or experts invest. So they might invest it. There's a dividend type of investing. This is where they use an approach that focuses on companies that pay dividends. So you put your money there. So companies that pay dividends in Canada would be like, I think Fortis, BMO, those pay dividends. So you might want to invest in a company like that. Or there's value investing. This is an approach that Warren Buffett uses. This is where his investing method is where he looks for strong companies that are undervalued. And then he buys them, buys their stock, and hopefully it's going to grow. Also, there's other things like, shall I say, technical trading. This is where people might look at the trend in the stock market and buy and put some money. Now, this year I tried to do some technical trading, and it's been quite a fascinating thing. I got my Wealth Simple account, and I put, I think, $500, and I wanted to see I wanted to understand cryptocurrency. So I put some money in cryptocurrency, and I'm telling you, it is like a roller coaster. You see the money go up and you think, oh my God, I've made $100. Then you come back again and it's now minus $800. And then you wait another whole month and it swings all the way up, and it's been like a roller coaster. So I just put 500 to understand, and it's really been good for me because I now understand why we tell people you cannot time the market. So even though I have told you this and value investing, all this Warren Buffett and everything, sometimes we think that we are Warren Buffett. So we might take our 30,000 and decide I'm going to go and make my money. I would caution you, try to, like I did with $500, and see how fast you lose it. And then how fast you gain it. And then before you know it, you lose it again. It's been crazy. So I've learned a few things about investing, and I think I'll stick with my professional planner. And I think Agatha would agree with me on that one. So what do you think the benefits of investing are? If you can go in there and just tell me, what do you think investing are? Yes, write on your chart 1 or 2 things. Is there anything, any comments, Charles?
Not yet. Can you repeat the question?
The question was, what do the members think the benefits of investing are? Okay, why should we invest?
Please type your answers in the chat room, please, chat box.
Well, I will give you my answers then.
Okay.
Let's see. So the benefits of investing are, you get higher investment returns, which means you're able to grow your money. You can also, you can also,
oh, sorry, Alex, there is
some comments. Yeah, yes. Go ahead.
Sister Agatha on right, it allows you to plan ahead for possible opportunities in the future.
Perfect. Yes. More comments.
That is the only one yet.
Okay. That's all right. We have opportunity to have some more discussions later. I just couldn't think of any other way to get people to respond and just feel a part and parcel of it. So thank you, Agatha. You know what you're talking about there. Let me just go back here. See. So yeah, it allows you to grow your investments and move from, move your money from one point to another. Let me just see here. Again, I think I mentioned earlier, it's your money working hard for you. The other one is just retirement planning or tax efficiency. So the majority of people invest for retirement purposes. So most people rely on their salary income for meeting their needs. So it becomes difficult to sustain your lifestyle after you retire. So definitely retirement planning is important. And I think the tax efficiency should be another point there. Investing can also help in saving taxes, as there are accounts such as RSPs, Tfsas, or tax-free savings, where the taxes on your investments is lower depending on different situations. The other thing is you can beat inflation. So investing is also important to beat inflation. If you don't invest your money and just leave it in a checking account, the money will decline in purchasing power, as inflation will eat away the value of your money. And the other one was just being able to reach your financial goals. See the screen there? Okay. Being able to reach your financial goals. So investing is one of the key ways in achieving the financial goals for yourself as you go through life. So I'll go down to just the basics of investing and just start really from the beginning. And that is, how do you, your sources of income. Move that like that. Okay, so what are your sources of income? Of course, we know employment, self-employment. Some of us have inheritance in Canada or outside of Canada. And again, if you haven't stopped to think about what to do with your money, if you ever get an inheritance and understood that you need to invest it, you may squander it, use it all. But so this is why it's important, and that's why I put it there. And other people have government benefits. And sometimes we tend to think because I'm getting government benefits, then I don't have enough to invest. But we'll see, in a little while that anyone and every one of us is able to start investing or saving some money for themselves for the future. And other people get some money from their families. Now, I wanted to put this just by the way, credit cards and lines of credits are not sources of income. And I think speaking from as somebody who is from the diaspora, I know sometimes we have a lot of pressure to help people at home. And sometimes we go to the extent of using all our savings, we go into the credit card, and then 2-3 years we are crippled in debt, and therefore we are not able to invest because we are really crippled. And as a lender, sometimes I have come across situations where the person has such a bad credit. And I think another type, and maybe another person without experience might think this person doesn't know how to manage their money. But actually, I know that sometimes they just have a lot of family responsibilities. So I thought I wanted to put that there and say, you know what, as we give and as we help our families, we need to realize that if we do not balance the giving with the savings and investing, we will be worse off. So I would even like to suggest that maybe we need to come up with a way of having an investment that gives us enough income to support our families. So we need to think about those kinds of things. You know, if you had, I was thinking one time my husband and I were looking at how much money we had given over a year or two, and it was coming to like 20, 30,000. And it was like, why would we do that? But it's because you give 100 here, 1,000 here, 200 here, and before you know it, it's really, if you had invested that, you would be probably just sending the $150 or so that the person needs. So I thought I would put that there, but think about the sources of income and what you can do with your money. I'm going to, so in my case study here, I'm going to introduce you to a young man. His name is Sam. And Sam is, as you can see, he's confident. He's a cool guy. He's quite handsome. And I actually found him on the internet. So I hope I don't get fined for this, but I assume that if he put himself on the internet, he wanted us to find him. So I introduce you to Sam. And Sam, recently that he needs 1 million to retire. And he knows he's nowhere close. I mean, you can see he's young, so obviously he's nowhere close. But again, you never know, he could have an inheritance or he might win the lottery. But for the most part, he has to work and then learn to make his money work hard for him. The other thing is he also learned that he needs to save money in an RRSP or a Tfsa. Now, if you know what an RRSP is or a Tfsa, you can put that on your chart there. Let me see. But he also learned that he needs that. He was told that the government gives benefits, so CPP and OAS, and he's wondering, will that be enough for me to retire?
Sister, somebody says, yes, I suppose the person says he knows about RSPs and what is it again? The Tfsa, yeah. So that is Augusta. Augusta says yes. Did you want to say something then, or write something?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Is that all? I mean, I'm pretty sure being Canadian, we have heard these terms and we probably have RSPs ourselves or we have tax-free savings. So we'll talk a little bit about that also, just to put everything in perspective.
Yeah,
so
there
the
is
other
a question.
Thing, go ahead. Yeah, I will.
Yeah, there is a question, but I'm not sure whether we should answer it now. We should wait till your
Go ahead. You can ask it and let me just hear it.
Okay, so the question from, I believe, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff is, what are some of the main reasons who don't invest? Are there some misconceptions, yes, that keep our community from investing?
Yeah, that's a good question, definitely. And I think at the end of it all, that's a question that I'm hoping we can answer.
Okay.
I'm hoping, and this answer is different for everybody. That's why I wanted to introduce you to Sam's family. And then hopefully by understanding Sam's family, you might have questions or answer this question yourself. What is keeping you from investing? What is keeping our people from investing? So I'll continue here and then I will open this up a little bit again. So again, I was introducing you to Sam. He knows he needs 1 million to retire. He needs to save in an RSP and a Tfsa. He's wondering if government benefits will be enough. He's thinking, should I pay down my debt or should I save? So the next question I want to ask here for the group again, on your chart there, Sam has this kind of questions. Now, do you have the same questions or do you have different questions? So I like the question that was asked, what is keeping us from investing? What are some of the questions you have for yourself? So we can take maybe 1 or 2 comments and then we'll move along.
Okay, there is another question.
Yes.
So, Candake says, my family loses money. I'm not sure whether loses money from investing or from invest. Okay, sorry. The corrects itself says my family lost money. So I'm not sure how that happened. Can you please expatiate, explain how your money, your family. Okay, so she says my family lost money through ferromagnetic investments. Because of lack of know-how.
Yes. Okay. And we'll talk again. Thank you. And we'll talk about that as well. Hopefully, by the time I'm done, you will have an answer to that as well. Thank you. So questions I see here, people are wondering if you've lost money. Others are wondering why are we not investing. Sam here has questions about all these questions. I think when Sam talks about government benefits, he's thinking of retirement. And I wanted to make this point that I don't know whether we have any young people here, but when young people hear retirement, it sounds like it's 300 years away. But trust me, it's not. So I'm very glad that Sam is asking this question as he goes along. Okay. So what concerns do you have about investments? I've already had two. I'll give any other person who wants to make a comment on any other concerns they have about investments. So we got the feeling of the fear or the fear to invest, and then others have invested and lost money. So that's the other spectrum. And in between, procrastination, what's keeping you from investing? Charles, is there any comments there?
Okay, yes, somebody says that, it says not having enough money to invest. Yes. Bills and cost of living, maybe. And not, August says not knowing what to invest in.
Okay.
And then Kandek again says not having regular income.
Yes. And yeah, thank you. I suppose those are all very valid reasons. We started off that you almost need income before you can invest, for sure. So this is the connections that this person needs. Like, why don't they have regular income? What can our community do to support these people that don't have a regular income? And I just want to say that very recently, starting on Monday, my office has asked me to take on a role, which is a talent acquisition role. And I'm really looking forward to see how we can help our people to get into these kind of jobs. Because if you don't have regular income already, you can see you're behind. And again, if you don't have regular income in Canada, you might be able to access government benefits. So what are you doing with those government benefits? So just thinking about, you'll be very surprised how much money actually passes through our hands, even as we think that we don't have any money. So those are good concerns and they are fair. So we are talking about Sam. So I'll move along here and talk about Sam. So for Sam, this is planning time. So it's time for him to plan. And he's going to be thinking about his monthly savings. He's going to be talking about, do I have any unnecessary expenses? So what Sam does is he books an appointment with an account manager at Vancity to do a good money plan. So Vancity introduced a good money plan. It's a way that account managers can help members to kind of assess where they are, look at their income, look at how they spend the money. And I've done this kind of plans, and sometimes you ask somebody, do you have any money to save? And they say no. Then you find out that they go for coffee every day. And you're like, that there is the money you can already start saving. So we're going to look at what Sam does. And so while he's planning and talking to his account manager, the account manager tells Sam that there are several, let me just get this here right for you, that in Canada, the main products that are available for us to save are tax-free savings accounts, registered retirement savings plans. For our children, we can have registered education plans. RDSPs are registered disability plans. A lot of people who probably have a family or children with disability don't even know that this exists. And another way that Canadians can save is through, or can invest, is through real estate. Now I have found some people who have told me that they're scared to own a house because so they'd rather rent. So they keep renting. And to me, sometimes we don't realize that when you keep renting, you're only paying your landlord's mortgage. So if you can actually afford to rent, you can probably afford to own a house in Canada. So let me tell you a story about real estate. We lived in Burnaby when we first arrived in Canada. That is in 2002. So a year after we've been here, there was a house on sale in our neighborhood. And I remember it was going for about $450,000. So a few months earlier, our neighbor had purchased the home they were renting for $400,000. And one day she was lamenting to me about how this purchase was going to put a financial strain on their family. So I remember my husband and I discussing our options. And we concluded if the locals were lamenting about the cost of living and how it would strain their family, how could we, who are new to Canada, manage? And besides, we were coming from Africa, where the idea of building a home with a loan was unheard of. Basically, just keep building by saving your money. So what did we do? We talked each other out of owning our first home. Needless to say that the home is now worth millions of dollars. And what I learned from this story, and it's our own personal story, is that sometimes we listen to other people, but we don't know their circumstances, or sometimes they're not saying don't buy, they're just kind of talking about an experience. Like earlier, this person says, I invested money and I lost it. So now this person, if they meet somebody else, they'll be telling, I invested money and I lost it. Then you will not invest. But how many people do we know who invest money and they don't lose it? Or how many, in this case, how many families do we know who bought a home and they, even though there was a little bit of financial strain, they managed? And that is why I always say, I think I've heard this said before, the best time to buy your home is 10 years ago, and the next best time is actually today. So right now is okay to buy. Of course, we learned our lessons and we have gone on to own real estate, and we've seen some of the benefits of having real estate. So I thought I would put that right there, because when you see it in books, mostly they just talk about the products. But I think real estate is a very good way to grow your wealth and keep it. And remember, the value is in the land. So sometimes a house will depreciate, but the land always goes up. Okay. So this is a kind of conversation that Sam is having with his account manager, trying to educate him on the options that he has. So I'll get into the purposes of TFSA. So there are two questions that are usually asked. Is it better to have a TFSA or an RRSP? And I'll just quickly talk about that here. So let me actually ask this. Let me poll a few. Let's get people to comment. What are the purposes of a TFSA? So tax-free savings, we know what that is. Do you want me to get into the details of it? But tax-free savings is a product that's available to Canadians to put their money, and basically, whatever money you put in there, it's after tax dollars. But when you make any interest you make, you do not pay taxes on it. So it's a very good way to grow your money. And there are limits, and there's all sorts of things in which we can get into, but suffice it to say that that is one of the tools that you can use. So do you know what you can use if you put your money in a tax-free savings? What can you use it for? Let's see people just comment on that, and let's see where we go with this. The purposes of a tax-free savings. What would you use the money for?
For a rainy day.
For a rainy day, yes. Perfect. And you're going to see very quickly the difference between a tax-free savings and RSP just by looking at what you can do and not do with one or the other. So I'll move along in the interest of time. So the purposes of a TFSA is that you really use it for retirements. So savings for retirement. And also saving for other purposes. So you can use it for education. You can take the money and just go pay for a course or two. Use it. If you had some money there, you can take the money and go and put it down for a down payment. So use the money for an emergency fund. You can buy your vehicle. If you had saved some money there, you need a vehicle, you could go do that. Some money from there for renovations. Other short-term or long-term goal. Okay, so and this is the difference with an RRSP. RRSP also is used for retirement, but there's only 2 other times when you can use a RRSP. And this is the lifelong learning plan. This is when you or your spouse, whoever it is you are, can enroll in a qualifying educational program on a full-time basis. And so you're able to withdraw $10,000 per year for a total of $20,000. So obviously you can see you need to have put the money in there, but the maximum you can take out for education would be that much. And you're allowed over 10 years to pay it back. So the other second time, you can take money out of a savings, an RRSP is to buy a home. And this is your first time home buyer's plan. Again, you can withdraw up to $35,000. And my numbers may be on off because things may have changed, but those are the 2 reasons why you can, when you can use an RSP. So you can see one can be long and the TFSA can be long and short term. When you're saving in a RSP, you're thinking in the long run, right? And if you like, I can actually go into the details of it and not get into it, but there's always a limit of about 18% of your previous year's earned income. So if you want to know how much you can contribute, look at your CRA notice of assessment. It will tell you exactly how much you're able to contribute. And many of us have a lot of money we could contribute to. The other one that I'd like to, I'll just back up here a little bit. I think I deleted it, so I'll do something about it. So let me tell you about the TFSA. So the TFSA has, I think your contribution, it started in 2009. And over the years, there's been a contribution per year of about $5,000 or $6,000, whatever. But the limit is almost $75,500. So really high growing. So if you're a Canadian and that's the kind of money that should be in your account if you are saving consistently, okay? So that is usually asked, and you can see I'm not going to the details of the specifics, but a lot of people ask, which is more superior? Is it better than to have a TFSA or an RSP? And it depends. Taxes are going to be the same when you retire as of now, then there's not much of a difference. You'll come out equal. Taxes are expected to be different. And then your tax rate to be different when you retire, then of course, you're better off with one thing. And so, I mean, the other way. So the RSP will be likely better if your tax will be lower when you're retiring. And if your tax will be higher when you're retiring because maybe you have a lot of money, then a TFSA is better. But remember, depending on if you have a pension, then you may not have, if you have a pension, you don't have as much room in your RSP, which gives you the option of a TFSA. So again, I will not get into the very details about that because I have a point that I want to drive home about investments. So we'll come back to Sam. Now Sam is he's already had some time with his account manager, and now it's time for him to budget. So he's thinking about how does he actually pay himself based on what he now knows, because he needs to start accomplishing the financial goals that he has set for himself. So this is what Sam does. So somebody told me that they think they didn't have a lot of money to invest, but this is what Sam does. He decides he's going to spend $150 to pay his debts because he has some student loans and so on. Short-term goal, he decides I will spend $50 to put in my tax-free savings account. Long-term goal, he says I'll put $100 in my RSP. That's how much is that? $300. So he's putting $300 away. Now, depending on where we are in life, we may just not put 50. Maybe we'll start off by 10 with 10 and then expect to grow as the years go by. But the important thing is start somewhere, right? And as I said, if you sit with somebody, they can probably show you places where you can save your money and maybe not visit the mall too much, which could be another reason why you don't have a lot of money. I remember when I first came here, there's a lady we met and she told me, one thing I'll tell you, don't go to the mall if you want to have money in Canada. So that's another place where we lose our money. So here is Sam. He's decided he has two choices. So Sam's choices, he can either have, so he knows he has to get a TFSA, which he's getting. He's putting, did we say $50? And the RSP he's saving, he's putting $100. So he has three ways of investing. He can either leave the money in the checking savings, which we know earlier, as I mentioned, it will go down in value. He can put it in term deposits. Currently working at the bank, I know that term deposits are not giving enough interest. Or he can put his money in other investments. So those are the choices. Now, let me just poll you. Where do you think he should put his, the choice he should make? So we know he's getting a TFSA RSP. Where do you think he should save his money if he wants it to grow? Let's get some poll here and see what people feel. Should he put money in his high interest savings account? Should he put his money in a term deposit, or should he consider some other investments?
Please use the chat room. Yeah,
Sorry?
I'm telling our participants to use the chat room to type there.
Yes.
Yes, somebody says other investments.
Other investments, okay.
Yeah, other investments, okay. And then another person says, that is Jeff, says, consider other investment. He is young and can afford higher yield in, oh, okay, he is young. Can he afford higher yield investments? That's a question from Jeff.
Yes. Okay, perfect. How long do I have to do this? I just want to kind of get an idea of what the time is so that I know how to portion the rest of my time.
Okay, and then Andek says, or TFSA, that is invest in TFSA account, that is a tax-free saving account.
Yes. All right. So he's already putting his money in a tax-free savings and an RSP. So what we're asking is, when the money is in that product, where is he going to put it? So he's going to, and everybody's agreed he'll use other investments, and we know why it's gonna grow. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Charles, just a quick question. How much longer do I have here? Do I have at least another half hour? Or?
Yeah, you have half an hour, yes.
Half an hour, okay, so
we're halfway there. Charitable to you.
Yeah, so we're halfway there.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Let me introduce you to another person here. You're going to meet Sam's family today. So Sam meets Rose. Now, I also found her on the internet, by the way. So I'm matchmaking here. So Rose, she's a professional insurance advisor. And in the months that follow, as they get to know each other, she's surprised that though Sam has a good plan for investments, he has not taken the advice to get insurance seriously so far. And you know, just knowing Rose, this begins Sam's journey in getting a wealth protection advisor. And so with this, I just wanted to say that we do not have any hesitation to insure our vehicles because it's mandatory. But we often second guess ourselves in ensuring the most important asset, and that is our lives. So why I wanted to bring that is I wanted to say that we cannot talk investments until we are touching all the different aspects of what makes investment in Canada viable, or how do people actually make money. So we talked about how to, you know, with your RRSP, that's retirement. With your TFSA, you're saving for the things that you need, you know, as you go along and growing that money and then using it. Now we are where we are saying, you know what? You need some wealth protection as well. That is how you protect your wealth. So if the group can just go again on the message there and just indicate to me, put on the chat, what you believe the benefits of wealth protection in investments. Why do you think is important? You know, why would you think I would bring that here as well? So wealth protection, why is it important? If you can put in your comments there. So now Sam has actually gone to see his insurance advisor. So before, remember, he went to see his account manager to help him with some budgeting so he can at least put some money away. He's now at the wealth advisor, with the wealth advisor person, and this person will help him to, you know, get some insurance for him.
There is a comment.
Yes.
Our sister Kandek is very prolific. She says, in case I lose my ability to work.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, any other comments?
No, that is all. Okay. So far.
In the interest of time, I'll move along here and answer some of this. I know these thoughts are in your mind, but the benefits of it is exactly as my sister there has says, it protects your income from unexpected issues. I put the expenses, but I think unexpected events, that's what I meant to put. It protects the money you're saving for future plans. It gives you the power to protect your family, even when you're not around anymore. And it protects your emotional health by giving you a peace of mind, knowing that if anything happens, you're covered. So here we can talk about, again, your insurance advisor can help you there. But I know we are going to talk about life insurance. We'll talk about disability insurance, loss of employment, all these kinds of things. Again, I always say, go to, I recommend a credit union personally, just because I feel that they are not trying to make any sales. So they are able to sit there and actually listen and give you the best advice. But again, most important, sit down and talk with someone to help you. So obviously I would, if I addressed investments without mentioning briefly the benefits of wealth protection, I would actually fail this group. But let me reiterate again the value of professional advice for your wealth protection needs. So next, you're going to meet Sam. Again, he now has a baby. So Sam becomes a dad. So what does he do? Once again, he books an appointment to meet his financial advisor. And once he wants to know is to ask his financial advisor, now what do I need to do? How do I need to invest? And the financial advisor is going to tell him that he needs to put his money in an education fund. And we know in Canada, their education fund is a registered education savings plan. And so this is, it's a vehicle that is used by caregivers or parents to save for their children's post-secondary education. And the government will add about 20% or more depending on your income. So based on how much you're putting in. So you can see, if you put in a little money, the government puts in 20% or so, and then you invest it for 4, 5, 6, 7%. You can see how fast your money is growing. So again, Sam, as you can see, he's a planner. He's already decided he's going to be putting $50 of a monthly contribution towards his RESP, should I say. We also learn, as the advisor also learns, that one of Sam's children has a disability, and so they are eligible for the disability tax credit. So the advisor is able to tell Sam that if he contributes to a registered disability savings plan, there are certain grants that are available. And there are rules around this, but I'm just painting a picture as to how, as a Canadian, you can use the different buckets that are available for us to invest. So Sam at this point decides, you know what, I'll put $125 monthly contribution towards this. So again, Sam has choices. We know that he has decided to put $50 in his RESP and $125 in the RDSP. But again, he has choices. Is he going to put the money in a checking savings, put it in a term deposits, or other investments? Now, from what the decision we made before, we decided that we know that he's going to put it into other investments. And that's what we would advise him to do. Let me take a detour here and talk about Sam. Sam is a planner. So he decides that even though it's a COVID year, he's going to take his family for a vacation. And what does he do? He takes out about $2,348. Don't ask me why I put 48, but he's going to take his family on vacation. The good thing about this is he's doing this tax-free. And guess what? He does not need to use his credit card. If he charges his credit card, it's only to get points. But he's using this money to go on holiday. So that's an advantage of having a TFSA, as you can see. And I'm hoping that some of this money is actually profit from what he saved, he invested. Let's talk about the cost of what if Sam procrastinates. He decides, you know what? I don't want to do any of this at all. And somebody asked a question, what keeps us from investing? And the reason is just sometimes we just procrastinate. And maybe if we understood what the value or the cost of procrastination, it would change our minds, in investing. So I'll quickly go to a table here. I'll jump that one and just go to this table here. You can all see this, right?
Yeah.
So this assumes that so remember in one of the investments, he's contributing just $100. So let's say Sam decides, you know what, I don't have money, but he decides I only can put $100 away. So if he makes a monthly contribution of $100 at a 5% compounded annual interest rate, if he starts at the age of 20, when he's 65 years old, he will have $196,000. Can you see that? How about if he decides, oh, forget it, procrastinate, I'll start when I'm 30. So when he's 30 years old and he puts $100 at 5%, he'll only have $111,000. How about if he waits till he's 45? If he puts $100 at 45 until he turns 65, he'll only have $40,000. So you can see that if Sam, in the worst case scenario, just decides I'll put $100, that's less, that's about, shall I say $35 every week or $50 every 2 weeks, he would have that kind of money saved in his pocket. So when you start to see that, because sometimes when we talk about investments, we are thinking 100,000 or 200,000. You don't realize that sometimes what you have to do is start small, and that small is what actually grows. So I really recommend that we do not fear to invest. I want to talk a little bit about catching up, because I already mentioned that if you wanted to know how much room you have, you look at your notice of assessment, it will tell you how much money, depending on how long you've worked in Canada, to tell you how much money you have left over. So you can catch up. And so to catch up, I wanted to make 2 points about this. So there are ways that you can contribute either to an RSP or a tax-free savings or RESP or whatever it is. So there's in-kind. In-kind, I will leave people like Agatha to explain to us how that happens, but that's when your broker or your insurance, your investment advisor is able to move some of your investments into registered products. That's a technical thing. The other one is that you can borrow. So you'll notice like at the credit union and most banks, you have somebody calling you at the beginning of the year to say, are you going to contribute to your tax-free? Are you going to contribute to your RSP? And really what they're saying is come in here, take a loan for 12 months and start getting a sizable chunk of money to invest your money. And also it gives you a tax refund. And when you get your tax refund, you can pay off your loans, or you can, pay off your debts or whatever it is you want to do with the money. So we talked a little bit, we told Sam that he has options. And so choosing investment options. Let's put it this way. Those other investment options look like this. They are stocks, they are bonds. Now we have cryptocurrencies. You can buy Bitcoins and you can do real estate, you can do options, you can do commodities, futures, investment funds, bank products, annuities, or you can do all these things. Also, if you want, you could use a self-directed option, like I tried with Wealthsimple myself, or you could use Qtrade or Questrade and decide to have a go at investing. But what I have learned with my $500 that I was telling you has just been, increasing and dropping. I'm waiting for it to increase, and I'm dropping this whole issue of trying to invest myself. It is difficult to time the market. So I've made the conclusion that investing takes time. It needs a plan. It needs consistency. And I'll reiterate again, I cannot time the market. So if you are to invest, you have to be like Sam, put $100 every month. But this is what I want to say. I started earlier and said, when you want to fix your car and it's broken, you don't start fixing it yourself. You take it to a mechanic who knows what to do. And so I want to put it to us here. If you're going to invest, please don't try and do it yourself, because you're busy with what you do. You're a professional in what you do. And there are professionals like Agatha and others who that is what they do. They basically can create a portfolio for you that works. And then you don't have this story of, I lost my money or, whatever. What you'll see, they don't really lose their money, but their money might fluctuate. But if we don't know what we are doing, instead of our finances or our investments fluctuating, we lose it altogether. So I put it there just to show you that there are so many ways that instruments that are used to grow money for people. And I would like to say that as individuals, we need to learn how to invest as the banks do, or like rich people. Rich people don't try and invest money for themselves. They hire their best stock investment advisor, and this person can put their money in stocks, bonds, all sorts of REITs, all sorts of options and all these things, which as an individual, I would not know. I might just buy stocks, but maybe that's not the best thing for me. The other thing, as Agatha would tell us, an advisor has a way of telling us what is our risk tolerance. And then based on that, they can make plans for us. So I just want to say, to put it that way. So if you are here maybe expecting me to tell you exactly where you're going to go and invest, I'll say, I need you to sit down with an advisor to look at your situation, and they will assess you and look at your plans and give you a plan. And I'll tell you the best way to do it is be consistent once you decide what you want to do. So I'm going to proceed to introduce you to Sam's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Boateng. Sam's parents are now in retirement. So it would be remiss of me if I did not talk to you about the retirement phase. And I want to imagine that there are people in this forum in this stage of their life. And one thing I want to give points to this, to Mr. and Mrs. Boateng, is they have trained Sam in the value of saving. They have trained Sam in the value of investing. They've actually gifted Sam with funds to invest. And they're able to take care of themselves. Yeah.
Please, everybody mute your microphones, please. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay, thank you. So, you can see how they are smiling. They are really smiling at their future because it looks bright. They are able to take care of themselves, so they are not a burden to their children. And I would say that they have abundant savings for their future. Let me see here, 1 second. So before I get into a little bit of where you might find yourself here, let me talk about the retirement income that Canadians can have at the end. So the Canadian pension plan, that's CPP. So we know that because every time you're paid, they take out some money from it. So you will get that money when you retire. Old age security is another form of that Canadians pay their elderly or people who have retired. Again, there are rules. You have to have lived in Canada and worked here for 20 years or something like that since you turned 18 and so on. There's a guaranteed income supplement. This is given to people who are earning very little money, and they help them to supplement their income. There's pension. Some people work for companies that pay them a pension. Nurses are a good example, doctors, people who work for the government, many of them have a pension. So that would be another source of your income. And let me tell you what, when your company is putting away the pension, that money is actually invested. When the government gets the Canadian pension plans from our payroll, they actually invest that money. So what we are encouraging people to do, the second last item there, the Registered Retirement Income Fund, that is money that you saved in your RRSP, your Registered Retirement Fund. So as you are investing that money, it's so that when you turn 71, you can convert it into income. In other words, you can start drawing money out of it. That is why you need to put in some money there so it can grow. And when it grows, you're able to take out more, or however whatever the rules might be regarding that. And of course, you might have some cash in your hand or in your bank. So the retirement incomes that you're going to be drawing later, and maybe your tax-free savings there, you might be able to draw money out. So let me talk about the 3 zones that you might find yourself in retirement. There are 3 zones. There's a green zone, a red zone, and a gray zone. So a green zone, you have abundant savings like Mr. and Mrs. Boateng. You're smiling all the way. The red zone, you have insufficient savings. The gray zone, you have sufficient savings, just sufficient. So which zone do you think you'll be when you retire? Again, your financial advisor can help you to analyze. And what are they going to be analyzing? They're going to be analyzing, are you going to be eligible for a Canadian pension plan? Will you be eligible for an old age security fund or income there? Will you be able to get a guaranteed income supplement? Is your company paying you a pension? So if the company is paying you a pension, then they might say, no, let's put more money in a TFSA. If it's not, they might say, you know what, you need more money in your retirement. So I remember when we did this plan, our plan was showing that we needed to be putting $500 a month. So 250 for my husband and 250 for me, for us to retire the way we wanted. So many times they'll ask you, how much money do you think you'll need to retire? And then based on that, they actually create a plan for you. So sometimes you have to adjust it a little bit, but this is the point. So you need to figure out in your green zone, so what it is. So to focus, it focuses on how much income you need till the age of 95. And whether that income or that money that you have will be able to weather the fluctuations in the market. So let's talk about the green zone. The green zone, you know, we hear all the time that, you know, there's nothing sure except death and taxes, but the green zone retirees should have a lot to look forward to, as their capital should be fine in most reasonable instances or scenarios. So you can't really guarantee it 100%, but they should be reasonably comfortable. So the green zone stereotype might be those neighbors. You know, sometimes you look at some neighbors, they drive an old car, but it's so well taken care of. And you're wondering, you know, they're always going on holidays to Arizona, and you're trying to figure out, what are they doing? Like, how are they living? Those people might have $1 million in their credit union and you have no idea. So people in the green zone appreciate the value of planning. And my hope is that they would be mentors to improve the success of our community. So if you're in one of those groups where you know what to do with your money, where you have learned the value of a good planner who can invest your money and invest it well, let other people know, introduce them to them and give them referrals so that they can help our people to move along. The other zone is, what is the red zone? So retirees who fall in this zone do not have abundant savings. And these are the people who never really knew that they could save their money, that they could put it in any way or form to grow. So they have insufficient income for themselves. And, you know, red zone retirees, they are not uncommon. Can you think of family or other people that you know who fall under this zone? They simply, if you are a red zone retiree, you simply have to manage with less. But if a red zone retiree lives longer than they expect, then harsh late retirement years can follow. And that's something you wouldn't really wish on anyone. And you know, when we talk about investing in the market, red zone retirees, when the market goes down, they really get hurt. And it's really difficult for them. So the only problem is when you're a red zone retiree, you have a problem because you could fall into wrong hands, because somebody might tell you, you know what, if you give me your 30,000, I'm going to really grow it for you. And sometimes those are just, you know, Ponzi schemes or whatever it is. So again, I always say, stick with known financial institutions, you know, so that you're not afraid that you're going to be misused or people will use your money wrong. So if you're a red zone retiree, how can you help yourself? Because as we said, the risk of a red zone retiree is that they may be tempted to shop around for those good news advisors. That's what I would call them. So how can we help a red zone retiree? For the most part, they could be well advised to put, if they have any lump sum money anywhere, let's say their company had been saving their RSP for them or whatever, they could be well advised to buy what you call a life income annuity. And this involves buying an insurance policy that will pay a lump sum for you. No, you pay a lump sum to your life insurer, and then they're set to pay you an income for the rest of your life. So that could be maybe the way you might mitigate this one. But what I'm talking about here is to say, you can see that it's possible very quickly to fall from being an abundant retiree to one who is in the red zone, just because maybe you didn't know. Now, somebody said that you didn't have, maybe you didn't have money to save. A lot of employers in Canada, and I don't know who your employer is, will actually put some money in your RSP if you can contribute. So sometimes what happens is people don't take advantage of that. And you know what? I have found, if you even just tell them, take $100, I don't want to see it, or next time you have a pay rise, just say, you know what, don't give me that pay rise, just put it in my RSP. Before you know it, you'll have a lump sum. And at the worst case scenario, you could use that lump sum to buy an annuity when you retire and get an income until your days here are gone, right? But the last one is, I want to say this is the last one, which is, let me see if I can get here. This is gray zone. So gray zone retirees, because not everyone fits in the green zone and the red zone. So these retirees, they just happen to have just enough money. And if they are lucky, and with normal planning, they actually experience a normal retirement. But if they should have some bad luck, then they might not have enough. So again, when you talk with your planner, he's able to see what category do you fall, where do you fall, and he might be able to advise you. For example, if you're in a gray zone, you might be able to keep your money for longer and then maybe buy a new annuity to the end. But again, you cannot make those kinds of decisions about that until you have seen a retirement, or shall I say an investment specialist or advisor. So there was a question that was asked, and it was a question about retirement and where can you use your money. Now, I found this to be interesting, that Canadians living abroad can apply for and receive government pensions like the CPP, and if you're in Quebec, the QPP, and also the old age security, So, and you don't have to be a resident to receive that, and you can start when you're 65. But in order to get OAS, you have to have resided in Canada for at least 20 years since the age you turned 18. So you can see if you have lived here for 11, then you might not qualify for taking an OAS, but you might qualify for taking a CPP, your CPP with you. Of course, your pension, you can always take wherever you are. And any money that you invested in the RSP, you can take it wherever you are because that is your money. So the only thing that is tricky is your OAS, because that you need to have worked and lived in for 20 years. So what I found is that Canada has about, 54 countries where you can actually collect your retirement funds in your own country, and actually Ghana is one of them. So you can go onto the CRA website and you can see it. So yes, it is possible to organize your finances in a way that you can live there. You might miss on a few things like the OAS, but again, if you do your cost analysis, you may make a decision that you're better off there as opposed to here. But again, that's something that if you let your planner know, they might actually be able to look and see exactly where you need to be investing your money, right? And then the GIS, that is the supplement that is given to low-income seniors. Now, for the most part, if you invest properly, you probably will not fall in this category of low-income seniors. So this GIS is almost irrelevant. So the only one that we are talking about is your CPP. We know you can take that anywhere. OAS, you need to have been here for 20 years since you turned 18 to start getting it. But I did find out that Ghana is one of the places. So what happens is the Canadian government is able to do direct transfers into your bank account. Again, that was kind of interesting. As I said, GIS, it's not even that much anyway. So you can get that information from Service Canada. And also you can look at where you can get, how you can get your Canadian pension plan and so on and so forth. So I was actually quite interested, if I might just mention a few numbers here. The maximum monthly allowable GIS, it depends on your income. So if your income is $34,416, you will get $551. If it's more than that, you get nothing. So that's why I wasn't too worried. So the question as to whether you can, get your pension when, or your benefits, retirement benefits when you're in your country, yes, you can. There are some that you won't qualify for. And then there's another one, I think I found out with the CPP, I think, they will deduct some percentage off for being away and so on and so forth. But again, your advisor can work the exact numbers, because as you can see, it all depends. If you are low income, you have certain money that's available. If you have been here for less than 20 years, again, that's something else. You've been here more than 20 years, so many different scenarios. And that is why it's very difficult for anyone to tell you, this is what happened to me, because your circumstances are very different, right? So I wanna just say this. I want to say in all this, my point was this. If you are to invest, I really strongly recommend that you see a financial planner. They'll help you in making a financial plan. They will help you to evaluate and change the plan to suit your life events. They'll also invest in suitable products for growth. That is where we're talking about stocks, because somebody says we don't know where to invest. And as you can see, you do know where to invest. Is the how, leave that to a specialist. What you need to do, you need to put your money in your RSP, your Tfsa, you need to put your money for your kids in RESP. If you have anybody with disabilities, make sure you take advantage of that. You need to make sure you have insurance. That's what you need to do. But then the other thing you can do for yourself, how do you learn to invest? See a specialist and tell them, you know what? I don't even know where to begin. Or tell them, you know what? I've been putting this money in my Tfsa, in my checking, in my long-term savings. It's now $5,000 and it hasn't grown. The bank is giving me like $2 in 5 years. I'm not sure. What do I do? They will be very happy to take that money, start investing it for you and tell you, you know what? I think you can put $200 or $300. So they'll also advise you on taxes, how to save on taxes. They'll probably recommend how much you should put every year in your RSP. As we talked about Mr. and Mrs. Boateng, they can help Mr. and Mrs. Boateng with their estate planning. They can help them in knowing in retirement when to buy annuities, what kind of insurance plans to put in place. So if there's anything I can tell you to anybody who asked, I don't know where to invest, or somebody who said, I tried to invest and I lost money, and I'm saying, stick with the known financial institutions. Go to your credit union, go to TD, go to whatever, and I would recommend come to Vancity, we'll be able to help you. Because if you just invest with just whoever it is, you don't know whether it's a Ponzi scheme, and you have no way of knowing that. So let me talk a little bit about the kind of advice that you can get. So the different professionals that can help you. So an account manager like myself and others at the branch might help you with setting up term deposit savings accounts. We talked about that. But once you get into, you have your money $1,000 and more, your planner can help you to start putting money in mutual funds or segregated funds or all sorts of things. You have a wealth advisor. They'll help you with the planning and advice, and they'll put your money. Where do they put it? They buy stocks, bonds, ETFs, all sorts of things. You can see I'm just mentioning them. And all I'm saying is you don't need to know that part. You just need to know just a little bit, but they'll help you. By the time you have a lot more money, maybe you win the lottery or somebody gives you an inheritance and you have 200, 300, we call that discretionary investment. We probably assign a special person to look after you, because now you're going into the category of the rich. So we assign that person. The other thing, wealth protection specialists are available to help you with your insurance needs. If you want to do a little bit of your own trading, you can try Qtrade Investor. I tried it. And I don't like the fact that I have to keep paying $8 every time you trade, and every time you sell or buy, it's $8, it's $16, and I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm losing money instead of gaining money. It's just too much. So let me go back to the learning outcomes, because I have a few points that I'd like to make in conclusion. So I'll review the points as such. I had said that one of the things we would do is we would have an idea of knowing the value of appreciating assets versus depreciating assets. So I want to ask a question. How will you budget your money so you have some left over for investing? I want to suggest you need to start paying yourself first. And I know we are, Africans, we are Christians as well. We have to give, we have to save, we have to spend, and we also have to invest. And I think what happens is many times we understand that we have to give, we understand that we have to spend, but we don't understand that we need to save and we need to invest. And there's a difference between saving and investing. So saving is just you putting the money away. Investing is when you go to somebody who knows what they're doing and they start to grow your money for you. The third thing the second thing I said is that you need to know the value of compounding interest. So I ask you a question. How long are you going to procrastinate before you finally decide to start saving? The more time in the investment market, the more your money has a chance to grow. The other one I said was know the value of planning. Remember, you have to keep evaluating your plan to account for life events. You notice Sam had life events. He got married, he had children, and all sorts of things, and he's adjusting as he goes along. And he's also learning from his parents on how to invest. So you need to account for life events. I also said that you need to know the value of a professional wealth planner. Get the help of a professional wealth planner. My advice, stick with reputable financial companies. If a friend tells you they know someone who can invest your money, be wary. People have gotten into Ponzi schemes and lost their money that way. So I'd say credit unions and our banks are solid and will provide you with the opportunities you need to grow. So I want to put this last slide to say that Vancity has a full range of wealth management professionals and financial solutions available to you. Agatha, working also with the credit union, has a wealth of knowledge that she can share. So I want to then, from there, as I leave this here, is to take a few more questions, Charles, that people might have.
Hello.
Yeah, Charles. I just wanted to see if people have other questions that they have, and we can address them.
Oh, I have a question. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think part of your talk I wasn't available, but I wasn't sure if you said it or not. You were saying about the CPP and is it the OAS or something? Mm-hmm. You can take them in Ghana, but what about, do you know about the MPP as well? Municipal pension plan, the private pension plan?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. I just wanted, because you didn't mention that. So
yeah, I think my point is that, I may not mention, all the different available pension plans in Canada. I know there's QPP, There's all this. But the important thing is that, you know, if you see your specialist, they will be able to look at your situation and tell you, you know what, this is where you need to go. This, and then even tell them, I intend to maybe go away or whatever, and they will let you know. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. It's Alice.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Here's Michael speaking. I just want to say thanks for the presentation. It's quite informative. Now, two quick questions for you. If you receive pension, do you still qualify for the CPP OAS GIS?
Yes. So, to my knowledge.
And the second one is, would you feel comfortable sharing this presentation with us?
I'm pretty sure I can do that, but I think I have some rules about how I can share it, because I think I can only share it as a PDF just because if it has the Vancity logo. So yeah, I can find that out, but I wouldn't mind sharing that for sure. So let me answer the question you had about CPP. So pension that you know you receive. CPP you receive because you have been paying into it. It's when you start getting to your OAS and your GIS. Those are supposed to be for when you have lower income. So yes, when you have a pension, you do receive a pension and you receive the CPP. I see that all the time when I work at the bank. I see people receiving CPP and also receiving a pension. What I find is many people who receive pension don't also receive the CPP and the OAS and the GIS, because those are supposed to supplement low income retirees, right? But yes, you will receive CPP and pension.
Thank you.
I would like to ask Agatha if you can on the screen, maybe on the chat there, share. There's a website that she's suggesting for us, which is www.getsmarteraboutmoney.ca. So if you can share that with the group, that would be very useful. She's also recommending some books that we can read. Start late, finish rich. You know, some of us maybe we were not 18 here, but I think we can still finish rich if we are clever. And other books like Smart Couples Finish Rich, and Smart Women Finish Rich. So just a few books. So I would also suggest if you really are really interested, start by you know, read a little more. Okay. Agatha, are you there?
Hi, Alice.
I really want you to comment on a few things, some suggestions, particularly this money challenge. Do you want to talk about that? Or just
the money
make any
challenge
other
that
comment?
I put across?
Yes, please. Make any comments that you wish.
Basically, it's a month. I see how people struggle to save. So what we started last, it's this small group that I joined. So every month you set something aside and you put it, well, I decided to put in a tax-free savings. You can put it in an RSP, you can put in an open plan, but it's just, we broke, so you can start, if you want to save, say 2,000, break it in little chunks, right? Divide it into little chunks and pay every 2 weeks. It's difficult when you start, but when you take it off from your paycheck, that works. It goes a long way, right?
Yes.
If you tell yourself, okay, I'm putting $50 aside or $100 aside every paycheck, take it off before you spend what hits your account, or once it hits the account, you can always set it up at any of your financial institutions. Or if you want to be bold and try yourself, you can also redirect 150 to a certain fund or mutual fund of your choice, and it goes automatically. And you'll be surprised by the end of the year, if you go by that schedule I shared. I don't know. Well, I can send it to you. If you're sending your thing, you can include it if they want. Yeah. So yeah, a whole annual goal that is broken into chunks. So you can go by month. It's faster if you go by weekly, and if you can do weekly. And what I did last year was any extras I had at the end of a pay period, you could add to it, and you'll be surprised what you get at the end of the year. So it forces you to save. That is the whole idea that David Bach talks about in his books. The latte factor is really good if people want to start reading around it. Yeah, so I'll drop a few of the titles in there, but it is David Bach. That's the main author of the books. And I find his books really interesting and easy to read. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Charles, I think, got kicked out. So he's trying to log back in, he tells me. So
somebody should let him back in when
yeah, Judith. Yeah. So I don't know if you will take
over me, yeah.
Oh, you're in. Okay.
To say this, a group of friends of mine, we're 10 of us, we decided, you know what, why don't we put some money together and see where this goes? So we started putting $200 a month, which seemed a lot, but then we realized that we weren't saving at all. So this is what we said. You could put $200 a month, but if you needed it, you could borrow it. So that meant that you could now feel confident to put $200 there, because if you need 1,000, you can always come back and borrow. So after we had been doing this for about a month, 10 months. So in 10 months, we had $200 times 10 months, we had $2,000. Everybody was like, no, I don't want to touch my money, because now we had forgotten about it, because we opened an account and we start putting $200. We were 10 of us. So in 10 months, we were so shocked that account had $24,000. We were like, what? And we continue to do that. So recently, not too long ago, we all decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and put down a down payment for a house and see what happens. And it had taken us like, I would say 5 years or so. We had so much money, we couldn't believe it, you know. And so you're right, you know, when you put your mind to it, I think that was what I said, that I find, you know, we know that we have to give. We also know we have to spend. But I think sometimes we forget that we also need to save and to invest. And if we did know that, even if it's $10 and you put it away, you'll be surprised how fast it grows.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So open discussion, more questions. Let's talk about it, talk to each other, because I'm really done with my presentation.
Okay. Cycle.
Charles, are you back?
I
So do we have any other questions?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I didn't give you very, very specific things, but I really wanted to give you that overview as to how you move from not having any money to invest to having
I was saying that.
Go ahead, Charles.
Saying that has been very, Pandek is saying, can you share it?
I think you've raised your hand. You can go ahead and just ask a question. Well, Charles gets himself. Charles, we cannot hear you. But Ibrahim has raised his hand.
Raise my hand. I've raised my hand.
Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for your presentation. And you talked about buying stocks and like high commissions, $800 anytime you buy, and probably you lose. But there are some online, like Wealthsimple, Trade, which have lower commission rates. For example, Wealthsimple is even zero commission. And when you buy stock from, let's assume Scotia, you pay about almost $10. And when you sell, you pay almost $10. But when you buy from Trade, which is about $5.30, I think it's a little bit relatively cheaper than the mainstream financial institutions. So what is your take about that? About the online trading portals like Trade, Wealthsimple, Interactive Brokers, etc.
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. Actually, I have Wealthsimple and I have Trade.
Yeah.
And my Wealthsimple, what I was talking about was I had decided to put some money in cryptocurrency. And that's the one I was talking about. It's like a roller coaster, you know? You watch it and it's up, you've made $100 and it's all out, it's all gone, you know, the crypto. So I'm not, you know, I guess that my point is this. What I have found is, and I did that just to understand this thing of investments, particularly if I'm going to encourage people. What I have found is that unless you have the time to really, really study the market, you can make some money if you're good, but most of us don't have the time or the knowledge to actually know when do you invest and when don't you invest. So I have come to the conclusion that if you ask me now with the knowledge that I have, I just didn't put too much money. And yes, I agree with you. Wealthsimple doesn't charge me. And I have Trade where it's about $8 every time you do a trade and every time you do but at the end of the day, how are you going to decide which stock to buy? You look at the stock market, there are so many. So again, a lot of people would recommend, and I'm just talking to you since you know what you're talking about, the ETFs, for example, or mutual funds, but ETFs, I think I've seen, there's one ETF in Wealthsimple that's really doing well. So again, you could invest there. But what I have learned now, and if I were to advise somebody, I'd say, you know what, that's good for play money to learn. But I think if you want to really, you have your money, you know, your chunk that you want to invest, now I would just go to a financial specialist and let them invest it. And you see, they are not selling and buying every day. Whereas if you're to make any money with Wealthsimple, you're going to assume that you buy and sell and do that kind of a thing. Again, it depends on individuals. But for the most part, most of us, we work full time. We are bankers. Like I'm a banker. I don't have time to look at the stock market. And that's the reality that I had to come with and realize I can't, right? So it depends. You might have the knowledge to invest, but I don't think now as a professional, I would advise everybody to do that. It has to be with interest, and therefore you're willing to grow with it and develop. But it's not the best way to invest if you are just, you know, if you're a nurse somewhere, you're a teacher, you don't have time to do this. So let a specialist, just like you wouldn't fix your vehicle if it breaks. You know, I really suggest to use investors. And again, Agatha, what would you advise? Would you say that's sound advice?
There is, we have a varied a spectrum of investment. So before we decide whether, even in mutual funds, see that we have GICs in the banks. Even in the banks, some sell mutual funds, and then there are the stocks, the investments. Even within investments, there are options, derivatives. So it's a whole spectrum depending on your risk level. So paying $8 in commission to buy something that would yield 20%, I think is not bad, but it is knowing what will yield 20%, right? So you can start small. Nobody will tell you go and buy RBC, go and buy Tesla, go and buy Apple. It is by you researching and knowing what to do. So the first step is to put the money there and then find something that will help you grow. One tool that maybe people could look at on Get Smart About Money is the power of compounding. It's like what you put in, and depending on the rate or return that you get, you see how quickly they multiply. So it's one thing putting the money aside, the other thing knowing where to invest it in. If you put it in a bank with a low rate of 1%, what is the rate now? 1% or under 1?
Yeah, under 1.
You don't go anywhere. But if you...
It's less than 1.
if you went through your consistent and it's like bi-weekly payments into some like a good dividend paying mutual fund, you come ahead. And then if you get the courage to also study the market is not that bad. That's why I started, and I somehow like it. It's a good way of investing too. So you can spread, there's something called diversification. You can put a little in GICs for your peace of mind. You can put some in, even within mutual funds, there's income mutual funds, there are the equities, and there are the combinations. So there's a varied, a host of investment instruments that one could use. So it all boils down to learning and knowing and speaking to specialists. And the idea of pooling funds together is also good. Once you get your own thing going, you can start these little investment clubs. We had actually 2 in this community, 2, one all ladies investment club. 10 of us came together, 100 a month. We did for 5 years, but we invested in the stock market. So people young, the youth can start doing something on the side. And if, like Alice is saying, depending on what the group decides to do, you can also explore that. So there are several opportunities around, but you start with yours first and then spread the risk by involving others as well. And we are all here to help. If you have any questions, you can always call to ask. Yeah, that's what we do. So we're available to help.
Thank you so much.
Questions? Any other contributions? Can you?
Somebody has their hands up. Dr. Isifu.
You hear me?
Oh, no, I just asked the question and it was well explained. So I'm just trying to clap for the explanation. Not that my hands is up, but thanks so much.
Welcome.
Oh. Yeah, by anyway, Dr. Isifu, I'm a friend to Charles. I'm at UBC.
Okay, so there, okay. Very good. Okay, beautiful. All right, any info we say the eyes.
Yeah, I don't know. Charles is having problems.
Thank you. Yeah, so you hear me?
No, Charles, you're cutting out. No.
Hear me? Oh.
No. You are cutting out.
Oh my God.
Okay, it is kind of better now. So.
Okay.
Hi, Alice.
You know, thank everybody. I want to thank was such so proud of you. Your depth of knowledge is beyond beyond disclose again, right? And you can specialist to
hello, Charles.
Series.
Hello, Charles. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, since you are cutting off, let me just take over and then thank the lady for such a wonderful presentation. We thank you so much for spending your your Saturday evening instead of relaxing with your family at home to share such an immense knowledge with us. Some of us had the privilege of knowing some of these things a while ago, and then we implement it, and it's now paying good dividends. So newcomers, young ones coming to Canada should be aware and take advantage of such opportunities. We came from Africa, from our various countries. All we understand before was save, save, save. Saving money alone does not generate a lot of income, but investment, and we rely on our parents, whatever they've done before, and inherit them. But from a big family, that inheritance becomes a problem to fight over with. But if you plan ahead and such lessons, I'm very happy that the High Commissioner is also here today. These are some of the ideas that have to go back to our various countries to encourage the youth to invest in themselves, monetary-wise or property, on all those things. So we so much thank you that you are able to give us such good information. I've learned quite a bit from you today also. And if you can pass some of your contacts, the reading materials, and the website to us, we'll make sure that we distribute them to the community. And then if you don't mind, if they need further assistance or information, they can call you and book appointment. Agatha is also there to help build us forward. There's a saying that it's better for 1,000 people to take one step than one person take 1,000 steps. Because that person take 1,000 steps, if you lost that person, it's gone. And the rest of us will stay where we are. But if you all have that knowledge and the 1,000 of us make one step, it means we are progressing. So thank you so much, and thank you for today's message. We hope that we should make this a series, have another one in future, whereby you give us more info. Maybe, have another one. I wouldn't mind how to advise to build your house, the steps to take, and how to plan for it so you can get your dream house going. But then it starts from investment on your money. So if you have the money, then you could plan your dream house. Another series I was talking with the president before, encouragement to our youth about their professions. And there are various professions here in the society that we are not open up to. So there will be more series coming along the way. And I'm sure we'll get better attendance than today's presentation. Thank you again. Have a great weekend. Bye now.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you can hear our Vice President.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you so much.
So without much, if anybody has nothing else to say, I'll say good night, dear friends. And those of you going to church tomorrow, pray for us all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Alice Agatha. It has been a very insightful session. Last neighbors. Yeah. Okay, so